Well, hello, my name's John Convery, host of Retire Yesterday, Live Today Radio, and I'm here with my son Michael and co-host. We've been broadcasting to Palm Beach listeners through the iHeartMedia platform, 1290 WJNO in the Palm Beaches for years, and we finally decided to go on video. Even though I have the face for radio, I have the voice for radio, you can see I have the face for radio as well. So up until this point, I've been very reluctant about putting this face, get it? Got a good picture of that? On TV. But you know what? We're going to take the gloves off, all wrinkles and scars aside, and we're just going to come and share with you from the heart. Because at the end of the day, we're passionate about raising financial awareness to help Palm Beachers get empowered and equipped to thrive in retirement, not just survive. That's what we do, right, Mike?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And we're going to be with you all day, every day, teaching you guys how to retire the right way. Because 76% of Americans only have roughly $10,000 saved up for retirement. And that is a problem. So like John's been saying, we've been on the radio for a long time, but now we're going to bring it to you digitally because you got to be educated on every single platform. So if you don't know who John is, he is my father, but I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his story because you need to know who the man is before you get the plan.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know, going back to the root of it, folks, I'm from your generation and you're from mine. You know, we celebrate things like the honeymooners, like reminiscing about the first Apollo space launch, and remember when Neil Armstrong on that fabulous day set foot on the moon and said, "This
one small step for man, giant leap for mankind."
Fortunately, ever since 1974, ERISA, which sounds innocuous, it's an acronym for the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. It set the stage for corporate America to basically renege on their obligations to retirees. And in cahoots, in my view, a conspiracy between Wall Street and corporate America, they decided to basically break up traditional pensions and instead put forth 401ks, which we all embrace today. 401ks, 403bs. Now, while there's a lot of virtuous characteristics of those things, let's be honest, they shift the risk onto the employee. You have to be a good financial steward. You have to know how to diversify your portfolio. And if the portfolio of mutual funds with your employer goes down, guess who pays the price? You, not your employer. Pretty damn great arrangement for corporate America and Wall Street. Wall Street gets you they ensnare you in their investment mutual fund machine, but very little education is given to the employee. So that's where we come in. Basically, we see a gap where the big box stores like the UBS's and Merrill Lynch's of the world don't really educate their consumers in all dimensions of finance. And that's something we focus on really as our niche to help you raise your financial awareness, as I said earlier, thrive in retirement, not just survive. That's where the name comes from. Michael actually coined the phrase, Retire Yesterday, Live Today Radio. And so that's our trademark. That's what we're here to do. And if you stay with us, you're going to be entertained, you're going to be wowed and regaled, but you're always going to learn something new, because I promise we'll plant a golden nugget in every show. You just stay with us.
Yes, he is absolutely right. So if you hear anything that intrigues you throughout this show, you can always just message us. You can always message us directly right on Facebook, just right down below. So if you'd like, always send us a message. We're here to help. And if you like the Facebook, this is going to be out every single Monday. So every Monday we're going to have another show. So like our Facebook and you'll see it come up every single Monday around the end of the day, because we know you guys want to see it when you get done with your day.
That's right.
So every single week we're going to have the show on Monday. So like the page below. Make sure if you have any questions, message it, and we're going to get a few topics because
we are. But I got to say this too: if you're like me and you don't know how to honestly message anybody, get your grandkids. Michael and I are here at this magnificent historic property with a little retreat with our children and grandchildren. My granddaughter Leah can probably show me how to use Facebook and Instagram. Just get one of your grandkids. They'll help you out. They'll show you how to message. It's a great bonding opportunity for you and them, and also a great way for you to get in touch with us, right, Mike?
You're absolutely right. We would just show you, but like we said, we're on vacation, so we don't have all the normal necessities we do have.
We'll go with what we got, Mike. We'll go with what we got.
You're absolutely right. So John, I do call him John, just so you know, because it's a habit at this point, because we work together. So John, or Dad, I'm going to go with Dad today. Dad, why don't you tell people how long you've actually been helping pre- and post-retirees? Pretty much because you've been doing it your whole life.
Well, it's the formaldehyde, the reason I'm fairly well preserved. I am a grandfather, and my oldest daughter, Heather, is 42. She lives in Red Bank, New Jersey, up on the beautiful Navesink River, just about 30 miles, I guess that would be southwest of Manhattan. Many of you come from the Northeast, so you know where I'm talking about, that geographic footprint. But at the end of the day, I've been in practice for 32 years. It's been something I've cultivated over the years, really working with the pre-retirees, American patriots who really are underfunded by and large for retirement. And what I mean by that is, earlier I mentioned that corporate America pretty much dismantled many of your traditional pension plans, and today an employee has to put money in their 401k, get a profit sharing or match. There's some great incentives and great characteristics of that, but many people really haven't built up the nest egg they need, or worse yet, they don't even know how much do I need for retirement. This is something we can help educate you on. Now, a program like this is never about trying to recommend anything to you. We don't know your situation, so please don't take it as gospel. Think of this as a way to just broaden your thinking. And my passion really is to work with retirees, even folks 50, 55, 60 years of age, who are concerned about how am I going to thrive in retirement. Well, number one, or rule number one, is don't lose money. You know, that sounds obvious, but how many people got wiped out in 2008 during the great financial crisis? People thought there were safe harbors, real estate, poof, the helium bubble and that balloon burst. The stock and bond market, traditionally the diversification strategy of choice for Wall Street, diversify between stocks and bonds, because one area will do well. If stocks go up, bonds may be laggards, or vice versa, but you'll be protected from both asset classes going down at the same time. Balderdash, that didn't save anybody, because even balanced funds were down 30-40% from all your iconic mutual fund providers, including great brands like Fidelity, Oppenheimer, and a brand I love, Vanguard. So the bottom line is, we've got to help you discover that epiphany. Number one, rule number one, don't lose money, right? And rule number two is see rule number one. And then we want to look at cash flow and sustainability and managing the longevity risk, that no matter how long you live, you have some assurance that at least for your non-negotiables, your budgeted expenses, your property taxes, paying FP&L, otherwise next terror will turn your lights off, that those core expenses are covered for the long term. And because you don't know how long you're going to live, there's a actuarial calculation and thought that has to go into this, because some people are going to live far longer than they've ever imagined, and other people are not. How do you manage a 25 and 30 year retirement? It's going to take cash flow, it's going to take sustainability, and it's going to take a way to protect your principal so that rule number one, you don't lose money, Mike. So that's what we're all about here. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to try to entertain you and bring things that are actionable in every program we have.
Yes, and like I said, or like I asked, it's been 32 years. That's 32 years of knowledge that you just heard right there. So I'm going to get into a little story. I'm going to ask him to share something with you, because over 32 years, he's learned one thing that's very important, and that's the strategies that get you to retirement are not the same strategies that are going to get you all the way through your retirement. And I know you got a great story that everybody will love to hear, because this makes a lot of sense.
Hey, one of my favorites, and I'm going to start by asking you Jeopardy folks out there if you can answer this question quietly from where you're viewing us right now. Are you ready for the question? Are you sure? Okay then, here we go. Who was the first person to successfully lead an expedition and summit Mount Everest and claim that victory? Who gets the credit for that? I've heard it yet. That's right, Sir Edmund Hillary. He was chivalrously knighted for the achievement. And that occurred in 1953. But you know, reminiscing about it, from that day to this day, thousands of people have summited Mount Everest at 29,029 breathtaking feet to the silhouetted summit, including high school students have done it. But you also know that, you know, intuitively, you just know that not everyone that sought out to summit Mount Everest, not everyone that dared to dream that audacious dream, not everyone that pursued that quest, that victory, made it back safely to the warmth of the valley or the ones that they love. You know that, right? They lost their lives on Mount Everest, many entombed. But here's what you may not know, and I find this remarkable, and it is simply this, that of all the people that have lost their lives on Mount Everest, the overwhelming majority lost their lives after achieving the summit. Wow! I mean, how can that be? How can the greatest climbers in the world deal with muscle fatigue, lactic acid burning in their muscles, Oxygen deprivation. How can you summit Mount Everest and lose your life coming back rather sheepishly off the face of the mountain? How can that be? And the climbing pundits think they've figured it out. And here's what they say. They say that the strategies that will get you to the summit to claim that victory, those are not the strategies that will get you safely back down off the face of the mountain. It takes a different strategy or set of tactics. And so too it is true, my friends, because that is a metaphor for your financial literacy. You see, all of the things that the big box stores promote, dollar cost averaging, putting money in a 401k, paying down your mortgage before you enter your retirement chapter, all of those things I applaud, they're inherently good. But those are the pregame. Those are the strategies to build up a nest egg to get to the point where you can close the chapter on your working life and step victoriously into the beginning of an abundant retirement. And it's not how much you have necessarily when you start retirement. It's that you have enough to last the rest of your life and conquer the fear of outliving your money. That is the defining question that must be answered by our generation of Americans, the epiphany of sorts. So this whole metaphor of Mount Everest simply sets the stage for your awareness so that you know that whoever's helped you journey, or your 401k, or whatever supported you to get to retirement, those things can be good, but we focus on helping you get off the face of the mountain and into the warmth of the valley. And that is the beginning and the success of a long and a rich retirement harvest that we'd like to partner with you to make sure that you have the opportunity to have that.
Yes, and I love how he touched base on that, because at the end of the day, the strategies are entirely different. And if you heard what he said there, you got to make sure you don't lose money. And many people don't know.
Rule number one. Don't lose money.
Exactly.
Rule number two. See rule number one.
Exactly. And there's not many ways that you can make money without losing money.
That's right.
Because pensions are gone. So that's what I want to talk about today. Because pensions are no longer around, but that is something you need. Predictable income.
That's right.
Each and every day that are going to take care of all your non-negotiable expenses, or you can't retire.
No doubt about it. You know, there used to be a rule. And I remember, I think it was March 2013, there was an article talking about say goodbye to the 4% rule. Because there was this theory, esoteric as it was, that says if you diversify 50% stocks, diversify 50% bonds, that if you withdrew no more than 4% a year from your portfolio, that you had a 95% success factor, saying that your money would last a 25 to 30-year retirement. However, that has been recast as perhaps more like the 2.8% rule, because corporate bonds in a low interest rate economy don't pay enough of a coupon to provide the level of sustainable income you need on the bond or fixed income side. And stocks, many stocks do not pay the robust dividends they once did. Look at the S&P and the Dow stocks as an example. So why I'm bringing this up is Michael hits the nail right on the head. In order to retire, you've got to have sustainable long-term cash flow. Now, there's only 3 guarantees that have any credibility, in my view, based on the issuing guarantors. We're not going to get into that today. That's going to be part, perhaps, of our next show. But what we want you to understand is we want to be advocates for you. We want to be encouragement to you. We want to be a source. Because even with Social Security today, so many people are discouraged. They don't know that there's up to 586 different claiming strategies and up to 2,000 governing rules. I meet with people all the time that didn't know if they were married for 10 or more years, divorced more than 2, and if their ex-spouse is deceased, as early as age 60, they may be able to collect a benefit on their deceased ex-spouse's record that otherwise will never ever be collected, and switch to their benefit later. That is 2 filings over a longer timeline continuum. Who'd have thunk it? So when people are thinking about Social Security, for a while, down in Clematis, the West Palm Beach office of Social Security was, quote, temporarily closed. Who knows, if we go to sequestration or we don't get a federal budget deficit in the next year or so, maybe it'll be closed again. And Social Security, righteously so, doesn't give advice. They'll process your claim. They're well-intended, good, faithful federal employees, but they're not going to give you guidance. Now, we are going to basically help you look at your entire picture, when and how to claim Social Security, how to try to invest with less risk in guaranteed constituent of investments that are backed by claims paying abilities of the financial institutions, and really look at sustainability of cash flow. And if we can get that point across to you in a little bit of fun with frothy fervor, that's what we're going to do. And we appreciate you joining us on this very first inaugural show of our video presentation of Retire Yesterday, Live Today.
Yes, so it sounds like we're going to have a great show for you next week. We're definitely going to focus on a lot of Social Security strategies, so you're going to need to stay tuned. But right now, what I want you to do is like the video below so you know when it comes out next week. Then I'm going to leave and let John end the
Lock up
show.
the vault. Peace out.
Don't let them stop your grind, and when it's time, don't ever let them stop your shine. Why? Cause you work hard to get there. When you get stuck, look up, don't just sit there.